Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your girl Jessimae Peluso. I'm really excited today. I'm excited because I just got my word of the day on my app. I'm a nerd and I do a word of the day, which sometimes I use, sometimes I don't. Let's see what the word is today. This is where you could just make yourself appear smarter. I use vocabulary. My mother always loved vocabulary. Delineate. To clearly describe or portray something. Computer programs, which can delineate faces, are very helpful to law enforcement agencies. That's a weird sentence to use to describe the word. You know, they could have used any other sentence, but they're basically warning your ass. Like, yeah, you think you're going to get away, Gerald? Well, we've got your fucking photo in the computer and we're going to find you. We're going to find you because you stole the honey-baked ham from the grocery store because the quarantine made you lose your job and you're just trying to feed your family. Well, we're trying to make sure that the computer delineates that fucking face, okay? It's a weird way to show the meaning of a word. How's everybody doing? Thanks for listening. Make sure if you want to watch the podcast, you go over to youtube.com/Jessimae Peluso to watch the pod. And we're also adding videos to Patreon every week now. So sign up for the Patreon if you want to get extras. That's going to be patreon.com/Jessimae Peluso. So you can watch extra podcast episodes and other various things that we're going to be putting on that platform as well. What else do we have coming up? We have a spring tour coming up. Carly Aquilino and I are going on our Girl Pod tour. That's right. I've got 45 other podcasts. If you don't know that, I have a podcast with Carly Aquilino. It's all things female, but if you're a man, you might want to listen because you can learn a lot. And if you're a woman, you should listen because you will relate to all the mistakes we've made because we've made the same mistakes as you. And we're just letting you know what we learned from them. Girl Pod, GYRL. And we're going on tour. We're going to be all over the freaking place. We're bouncing around. We're going to be in Atlanta. We're going to be Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee, Brooklyn, New York, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We're going to be up in fucking Montana. I'm going to find me a cowboy. We're going to be in Chicago, Austin, so many different places. Go to jessimae.com/tour. And you can find all of the dates available there. And I'm going to have a fall tour coming out as well, and possibly a summer tour. So that's the whole freaking year that you have an opportunity to find me in your town. And also, Girl is a Patreon exclusive podcast. So if you're like, I can't find it on Apple, that's why. It's Patreon exclusive. It is just for super exclusive fans, as well as my new pod, relatively new pod, The Deuce, with my other homeboy. Carly is one of my homeboys. My other homeboy, Mike Tully. He is my co-host of The Deuce. And that's really just a nerd kingdom, if you will. So that's also Patreon exclusive, patreon.com/The Deuce podcast. Both of those are for extreme fans, and you get extras every week. Thank you for everybody who supports those podcasts and this one. And speaking of support, this week, this episode is supported by a jewelry company, a really, really cool jewelry company, Ana Luisa, ANALUISA. Really perfectly timed because, guys and ladies, Valentine's Day is around the corner. What you gonna get? I always said that I'm not a big Valentine's Day person, but if you're going to buy me something, then I'll be into Valentine's Day. And I highly suggest this company, not just because the jewelry's so dope. It really fits my style because I like to layer. You guys, if you know me, you know I don't leave the house with less than 17 necklaces. I don't know. I love to layer. I've always been that way. I first started with this little necklace that I have. It's got a like a little key on it. And I got it from this jeweler. It's a hard word to say. It's like brewery. Jeweler. I got it from this jeweler in New York, and I remember seeing it in the window. And it's a real diamonds. And for me, it was such a big purchase. It was like $250 at the time. And I remember it being a big deal for me, so I never take it off. And then I just started layering necklaces to go with it. And I'll interchange a couple. Like I have a really cool old school Figaro Italian gold link that my dad got me when I was like 18. And now my rule is I don't wear jewelry unless it fits in with my layering style. And Ana Luisa is perfect for that. It's perfect for Valentine's Day. It's perfect for layering. And it's also a sustainably manufactured company, which is so dope. You know, it makes you feel like you're giving back. It makes you feel like you're a part of being on the right side of history as far as us being these people who make and wear things and not considering what it does to the carbon footprint in the ecosystem. So I'm all here. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for the fact that they're sustainable, for the fact that you can layer and make it really cute. And I even like the names of some of the necklaces. There's one called the Rosa, which has got a cool little celestial situation. There's one called Forget Me Not, which if you know me is a really special name because of what I'm working on, a little side project. If you know, you know. There's so many different options, and they got rings, they got bracelets, they have so many things for like every type of person, your mom, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog. Well, I don't know if it'll fit around your dog, but you know, you could buy it for your dog and then you just wear it. But I'm really excited that they are a part of the podcast this week. It's affordable, quality, long-lasting options, and it really makes me feel special to be just drip-dropping like a lollipop with all of their amazing styles. So make sure you guys check it out. Ana Luisa, AnaLuisa.com/sharp. And you guys can get up to 40% off. Buy one, get one 40% off. That's a good deal. You just go for Valentine's Day, get something for your honey and get something for you. Drip drop lollipop, baby. You guys will love it. I know you're going to love it. And send me pics, whatever you choose. I want to see how you layer your neck. Is that weird? The jewelry is so fairly priced. You guys can find all sorts of styles starting at $39. Check it out. AnaLuisa.com/sharp. That's Ana Luisa, AnaLuisa.com/SHRP. Thank you guys so much. This episode is a fun one. It is another Dr. P. We're going to get into Grief Survival Guide episodes coming up in the coming weeks, as well as just some regular OG me talking into the microphone, spitting from the top of my head like you guys request so often. But this week we are going into another Dr. Peluso episode with all of your questions that you guys have requested. And if you are wondering where you can send those questions in, you can email them, jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. And you can also go to my Instagram page every Sunday through Monday where I post the box for you to put in your questions. And this week we're going to be listening to some of those answers. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode with Dr. Peluso. Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, 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 beep. You're listening to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your host, Jessimae Peluso. It's a personal look. Well, it's not really a look because it's a podcast. I'm already fucking this up. This is kind of like a verbal comedy diary, a deep look into the crevices of my mind. It's gonna get dirty. You might cry. You'll probably laugh. Hopefully you'll laugh. The whole point is for you to laugh, but you also might cry. I talk about my family. I talk about farts. I talk about love, loss, comedy, how hard it is to make it in this biz. I'm a fucking professional. Each week it's something different. Sometimes I have a guest host. Sometimes it's gonna be a movie companion episode. Sometimes I just ramble about the bullshit I dealt with the week before. You never know what you're gonna get. It's raw, uncut, and funny. It's me. Ooh, Dr. P is in the house, everybody. How we feeling? Got my light set up. I've got a really sweet filter on so you can't see too much of the background. I washed my hair. We are literally cleaned up for you this episode. How is everybody doing? The doctor's in the house. I got my peppermint tea because I've already had a couple edibles today, so I'm ready to help give the best advice from the best place and state of mind that I can. My sister's guest room in the state of gratitude. My dogs are on the bed. I'm starting to get packed up because I am going to be traversing. Is that the word? I believe it is. Traversing. Let me take a sip of this tea. Hold up. A shout out to all my ADD babies. Ooh. That's so delicious. That is just wonderful. A little bit of peppermint tea goes really, really well. I'm sorry, I'm joking. Oh, wow, what a week. How is everybody feeling? What's new or old in your life? What are you doing to make your life better? Are you feeling like you've got something to look forward to? That's something that we don't put enough value on is looking forward to something. Are we so caught up in the problems that we need to solve, we forget to like put some things to look forward to. Like for me, it's probably going to be becoming Brad Pitt's wife. It's going to be magnificent. I so look forward to that. I look forward to becoming Dave Bautista's wife. These are things I look forward to because I know that I will improve their life tenfold. You have to know what you're worth so that you can give it without any expectation other than a set of keys to the house and the Ferrari. Is that so bad? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I was thinking about doing a grief survival guide episode because it's been a hot minute. I vacillate between doing these Dr. P episodes and then a couple guests here and there and then just regular solo ones I know you guys like. And it's been a minute since I've done the grief survival guide episode because I know the type of episode I want to do and it's a little bit of an undertaking. So I want to make sure that I tackle it properly. So anybody out there who's like, I need some more grief help, it's coming. It is coming to you. I wanted to make sure that I give you my full sort of recap on the year after I had lost my mother and what I've learned, and I'm still learning what I've learned. It takes some time. Isn't it interesting how you can go through and accumulate experience, and if you're not open to receiving it, and if you're not open to processing it, you don't even know what you're trying to process because you're still processing it. So I think that's what I have been going through, and because I really value those episodes because I read the messages you guys send me and realize how much they help you, I want to take my time on this next one. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for it, you still can email me. Where do you think we go when we die? It's a little dark, but I want to know what you think. Email me at jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. Tell me what you think your answer is. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, you can put what your suggestion in the comments below and let me know, where do you think we go when we die? What do you think happens? There's only a few scenarios, or there's limitless scenarios. Those are the two probable answers. So I'm curious as to what you think happens to us after we die. Jessimae Peluso comedy@gmail.com. Please and thank you. And make sure you click like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I am excited because we've got some new equipment. I'm going to be upgrading my studio when I get back to LA. Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades all the time. So if you guys have any comments or suggestions, shove them up your ass. No. Email me, jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. And right now, we're going to answer some questions. I'm sure a bunch of you are like, well, where the fuck can I submit my questions for Dr. Peluso? Well, you can email them to that previous email that we just mentioned, or you can hop on my Instagram stories between Sunday and Mondays. We used to do it Monday to Tuesday, but now I realize most of you are on your phone more often on Sundays. So we get a lot more interesting questions when I post it. So it will be on my IG story from Sunday to Monday, which will be, well, this comes out on Tuesday. Let's not confuse us because I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what fucking day it is. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, yeah, for sure it's Tuesday. I There hasn't been a day that I've known what it was throughout the entire quarantine. I don't know about you guys, but I also was convinced I had dementia every other fucking day. And I think we all did suffer from a little bit of like COVID pandemic induced dementia for sure. Because one of the things that definitely slows your brain and creates brain fog, brain frog, brain frog, brain frog will not be at Coachella this year. That's so fucking funny. One of the things that causes brain fog is when you choke on a frog. No, is the lack of movement, a sedentary life, and shit, if we haven't had that for the past couple years. All we've been doing is nothing. All we've been doing is comparing the nothingness that we've all experienced for the past 2 fucking years. So yeah, girl, work on that brain frog. That's so funny. And my entire house, my sister's house, has been riddled with whatever is going on out in the world. And I mean literally everything that is being spread is in this house. I brought something home that ripped through the house, and then kids are constantly sick, and my niece and nephew are dripping like faucets for a majority of their life, from the time that they're little to, whenever you start to tighten that faucet up when you become an adult, but they're dripping all the time, so they're always sick. Then my sister gets fucking COVID, and we treated her like a zombie. We literally locked her in her bedroom, locked her up. I was like, "Girl, you're not coming out. There's no key. We're shutting it down. We're locking it up, and that's that. We have none of us want to see you whatsoever. And please don't talk to your children." But then that's hard. If you're a mom and you get fucking COVID, guess what? The house is getting COVID. Fucking something's leaking on me right now. Speaking of COVID, if the mom gets COVID, the house is getting COVID. But guess what? I'm not trying to jinx anyone. No one else got COVID. And I'm over here like, huh? That's why it's like science is amazing because of how consistent it is, but it's also equally as chaotic. Sometimes it just doesn't make fucking sense. Even science is just like, "Oh, I don't know." So it baffles me that even, my brother-in-law, who's a little bit older of a fella, has lived a life and isn't not necessarily the healthiest person, not unhealthy, but he would even probably say and agree with that. He's right there with her. Nothing. No COVID. My sister's kids who are literally licking their mother, nothing. Me, I stayed away. I was like, "Gross." I was just I was spraying Lysol. "Should this take it away?" I was spraying Lysol. "Could we just put Lysol inside?" I can't do impressions. That was my terrible Trump. I'll leave it to everybody else who does impressions. I just was spritzing that bitch. She got COVID. I quarantined like I had COVID. 'Cause I've already been sick since September. Do you understand? Literally since the first weekend I went out, and it never was COVID. That's you guys are probably like, "What is this sweater she's wearing?" I'm not in my doctor jacket. I'm in a vintage SU cardigan from my boys at the Scholar and Champs in Syracuse vintage shop downtown. But it looked very, I don't know, professional. So it made me look kind of like a doctor. That's why I have it on, and I've got my fake ass stethoscope. You guys know continuity. Trying to bring you the realness here. I never had COVID. I just was always sick since September. And I, I feel like I should. I live a life that you would think I would have had COVID 4 times by now because of all the traveling I do, and I'm communicating with you guys at shows, and I did a whole fall tour. I was in so many different cities in a couple countries. I think maybe just one. I think it was Canada, but this sounds more exciting when you say a couple. I came close to Mexico, so we'll count that as 2. But to evade it all, I wasn't about to go down for my sister in the fucking ninth inning stretch. Is that what they call it? The 11th hour. All the cliches that mean at the fucking final hour of life. I wasn't about to go down because Emily Jane Peluso couldn't not go out for a few nights when COVID was at its highest. No, 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 she got to go out. She got a social calendar to upkeep. This bitch is acting like she's fucking 20 years old again. And I get it because she's been stuck inside with her kids for 2 years. I'd be out there licking bus stop poles too. We can only handle so much as individuals. We all have boiling points, and we all have parts when the glass cracks, and we just can't. We have to let off the steam. All of us do. That's neither here nor there. That's just me letting you guys know that yes, I did quarantine away from everybody so I wouldn't get sick. Is that selfish? Yeah. But I have to be selfish. I'm all I got until Brad and Bautista give me their door codes. So this is where we're at. And this is Dr. P. Peluso. Dr. P. Peluso. Well, technically it is Dr. Peluso, a Dr. Peluso episode. So we're going to be answering some questions. Again, if you want to submit your questions, you can email them to me at jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. And you can also submit them right on my Instagram story. I do answer some of them live on my Instagram story, and then I save a few for the podcast. And this is what you're listening to now. Tone Hero asks, will LA ever be the same? The same according to what? By the very nature of existence, nothing is the same. We are constantly fluctuating and evolving day by day, by day by day. These are the words we pray to love thee more dearly. No, LA will never be the same. And it shouldn't be. I don't want things to be the same. That's fucking boring. Except for the quality of my food because I'm such a foodie. Other than that, I don't mind when things change. I love to adapt. It's just who I am as a person. And I don't know what you're referencing or referring to specifically. I'm assuming maybe the comedy scene, but no, it's all changing. Of course, after this year, it is and was unprecedented. It's a word that Leo Flowers and I decided we were all annoyed by. It is unprecedented times and it's not sustainable. That was the other word we got sick of. But LA isn't a sustainable society. And so it had to evolve because of the type of couple of years we've had. When something isn't sustainable, unprecedented times create unsustainability and shit changes. That's the science of societal evolution, I think. Mm. Let's see what else we got. Nobody. What's wrong? Oh, sorry. Nobody. Is that a name or are you saying what you feel like you don't have? How wrong is it to really sleep with a person that's in a loveless 3-year sexual dry spell marriage? Wow. I feel like did we have this question before or we had a variation of this question? This is a loaded question. So first of all, you want to know if you're a fucking asshole for sleeping somebody who married, but you're trying to justify it by saying that the marriage is loveless and basically they're going through a sexual dry spell. So that's what you're telling yourself to convince yourself to feel validated in your choice to be with somebody who's married. Just so we're clear. No matter what this person told you, because if this person told you that, or even if this is information that you know, you're still using it to validate the choice that both of you are making to sleep with each other while someone in this equation is married. And two things are going on. One, there's a lot of shit that's not being communicated for someone to be in a relationship to feel like they need to go outside of the relationship instead of just ending it or finding a way to resolve what's going on to cause the separation and the breakdown in communication. That's going on. Or two, this person is so damaged that they think this is how a relationship should be and they don't give a fuck and they're really selfish and they're doing whatever the fuck they want to do either way, in any way. So I don't know. I don't really believe in wrong and right. I believe in decisions and consequences. And consequences can be good or bad. You know, I don't think the world is black and white. Some things are, but for the most part everything's gray. And the gray area is where you grow. Because the gray area is where the change is, the gray area is where the challenge is. And this sounds like a very challenging situation, but it also sounds like there's a couple really selfish people going into a scenario and not coming out of a scenario to satisfy whatever they want. Ironically, as chaotic as this sounds, this relationship you're in with this person who's also married, you guys are all probably doing it because you feel like you don't deserve anything better. And I could be wrong. But you guys, you come to me with these questions because you know I've been through some shit. And I also come from a broken home. And I come from a place where my mother and father were also not faithful to one another. So this is something that is very close to home. And even though I don't believe in wrong or right, you guys are making a choice. So the real question is, what is your consequence going to be of embarking in this love triangle? Well, you've seen the soap operas. Someone's going to die emotionally. Hopefully, not really, because then you're going to end up on a couple of my friends' podcasts. I don't want you to end up on Small Town Murder with Jimmy. I don't want that to happen. Please don't let that happen. How wrong is it to really sleep with a person that's in a loveless 3-year sexually dry spelled marriage? Well, first of all, the grammar in that sentence is wrong, but I'll say that. I'm not gonna say your scenario is wrong, I'm just gonna tell you that you've gotta really consider what your consequences are gonna be. Do you think this person's gonna love you and be with you forever? Very rarely does that happen. Very rarely does that happen, and where you're gonna trust them completely forever. This sort of it's almost like, the saying, like, "Work begets work." Well, distrust and dishonesty begets distrust and dishonesty. So, the real question you gotta ask yourself is, do you wanna continue or embark on a relationship where the foundation isn't truthful? That sounds exhausting. And furthermore, you should ask yourself, why are you getting involved in this fucking chaos? You must have grown up around it, and you equate this to love. This is your idea of a healthy relationship. Somebody who can't even communicate enough with the one that they've been with 3 years, and you think that you're gonna be different for them. And I've been on all sides of this except for the married part, thank you. I've never been married, nor have I ever had a child. I've been on all sides of this. So I'm gonna tell you the only way it really ends well is when you're being truthful to yourself about what you want out of the scenario. That's the only way it's gonna end well. And I'm gonna bet that you don't even know what you want, because most people who know what they want don't get caught up in shit like this, unless that's what they've learned love is, or they don't themselves believe they're worthy of anything better than something chaotic and toxic. But I hope the sex is fun. SoCal, oh, SC locals only. When I close my eyes, I can't see anything. It causes anxiety. What can I do? Open your fucking eyes, bro. Open your eyes and look around, or you should go float. You should try a float session, because it sounds like you just have some anxieties with being and being still, which is such a really cool skill to learn how to master, how to be still with your own thoughts. Because most people, other than like stage fright and a fear of spiders, their other biggest fears themselves and being alone with their own thoughts. A lot of people can't handle that. And first, it depends on your thought process, what kind of thought process you have. If you're even conscious of how you think and why you think what you think, and if you even realize the relation between what you think and what you do and who you hang out with. Because once you start to make those correlations, you really start to understand yourself. And for me, I love being alone with my thoughts. It's one of my favorite things. It's not one of my favorite things to do, but it's something that I'm not afraid of. It's something that when I really allow myself to be in that space, I think of amazing things. It's almost like shower thoughts when you allow your brain to just kind of stroll through the fields of its own territory. It's like allowing your mind to wander in your mind. And in essentially known as boredom. I think that's an important thing that we've sort of lost the ability to navigate. And in those moments of quote unquote boredom, aka shower thoughts or being still with yourself, you really manufacture these amazing ideas that for some reason, I think because you're present, are connected to your true source and your real essence as far as who you are as a person, not the image you put out, but who you are as an individual. And once you start to journal these thoughts, this is essentially like a meditative process we're talking about here. Once you start to journal these thoughts that you conjure up in these sort of meditative states, you can see your pattern of behavior. You can see how you think at your purest moment. You can see how you think without any influence, without any distraction, without, any sort of external distraction. If you can really get yourself into a meditative state, and use an app. I like the Insight Timer app. I use it every day. Excuse me. Just now I'm starting to get COVID symptoms. No. I always get a little bit of an allergy every time I drink something as I drink more. I if you can get yourself into these states and really start to journal, and you start to realize the pattern of what you're thinking, you understand why you're thinking it, and you can use the Insight Timer app to sort of help you meditate. You can do a float tank. A float tank is amazing. I know it sounds scary, but nothing's gonna happen to you. It's just the idea of fear that we're afraid of more than anything. Nothing's gonna happen to you in the fucking float tank unless you're near Freddy Krueger, because then his head's gonna show up between your legs and then you're gonna die in your sleep. And no one's gonna know because you're in the fucking float tank. But other than that, it's totally safe. But any place where you can get to that space, I know some runners that can do that. I know, um, you know, even just when you're driving, people going for a walk, anything that you do that can sort of get you into a meditative space is where you really can start to have these beautiful moments where you think of things that maybe solved a problem you totally forgot about, and out of the blue there a solution arises. And I do find being out in nature can help as well. So sounds like you got some anxiety to deal with. It's okay. We all have anxiety. And I hope you can incorporate some way to sort of sit with your thoughts and not be so scared, unless you're thinking some scary things. And then doesn't matter where you go, bro. But it's a muscle. So work it. And I hope it works out for you. Candace Iru. We should just cut a clip of me trying to say these names. Unrelated, but I think the research on Alzheimer's is so interesting. Share it. Yeah, if you're interested in Alzheimer's information or tips, I call them alts tips, hashtag alts tips, hashtag ALZTIPZ. You can click on that on my Instagram page and it'll take you to all of my story highlights that have in them the experiences I had with my dad when he had Alzheimer's, and just showing you exactly what I'm going through and what I'm feeling and what I learned. And there's a lot of information and resources to different foundations and different um, charity groups that have been created in order to help raise awareness and do things with memory care facility workers and families of people who have to take care of their loved ones that have Alzheimer's. So if you need that help, go to my Instagram page. You can click on the alts tips highlight, and there's tons of stories there for you to feast your eyes on and get some information from. And I also have some episodes on my podcast where I reveal a lot of Alzheimer's information. There's an episode with Dr. Daniel Amen, and any of the doctors that I've had on where I've always gone into Alzheimer's stuff because I'm passionate about it and I want to share information as I get it. But the other thing that really helped as well is like listening to other people's podcasts. There's so many out there and there's so many amazing neurological podcasts for nerds to learn about the brain and to help you deal with, calming your fears about the disease. If somebody who you're related to has it and you're worried about the or familial genetic probability that you'll get it. But one thing I learned, I actually was listening to Sanjay Gupta, Carly's husband, and he was talking about, actually, I think he was talking with Tony Robbins. And Tony just kind of asked him, what are the, three things people can do to keep their brain healthy? And these were the three things that Sanjay recommended. One was sleep. Sleep is so vital. Sleep is everything. Your brain's lymphatic system cleans itself out at night. Night is when your body and your brain does a lot of street cleaning. So sleep is so vital, and a lot of your systems are reset. We know this now, we're learning it, how the importance of sleep. I'll sleep when I die, and no rest for the weary, and you got to go, go, go. Yeah, I get that. But you also need to fucking rest, rest, rest. And there's a lot of people out there who have made amazing strides with a lack of sleep. I would really love to see what their brain looks like. That's all I'm saying. I think Dave Goggins is amazing. David Goggins. And he might be one of the only people who probably has an amazing brain, but I still would like to see it. And I want to see that guy's sleep app. How many hours a night is he sleeping? So sleep is major. The other thing Sanjay Gupta recommended was going for a walk with a friend and having a conversation. Now that sounds so silly, doesn't it? Going for a walk with your friend and having a conversation. Yeah, because community and connection are a huge aspect of brain health. It's something that keeps your brain sharp when you're able to communicate with somebody and have conversations, because so much is going on when you have a conversation. You're making references that are new. You're thinking about memories. You're mapping and geotagging and asking questions. Like there's so many chambers of your brain that are activated when you're having a conversation, not just like me when I'm having a conversation by myself with you guys, but when you have an actual conversation with a friend, it is one of the healthiest things you can do with your brain. I know a lot of us are separated now, so make a phone call, do FaceTime. I do a little FaceTime and wine. My girl Rose Hardy from the Tattoo Redo Show, her and I do that, and a couple other of my friends. It's just a way to connect and stay connected. So that's number 2. And number 3 was using your non-dominant hand. Now, I've been doing this for a while just because I know it's a mnemonic device for your brain. Using your non dominant hand, which for me is my left hand, just doing your basic things, brushing your teeth, grabbing food. It's so funny when you start to do it with your non dominant hand and you feel like you're just survived a car crash. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Why can't I use my limb? It's really kind of frustrating. And then you start to develop the movements and the muscle memory and you realize, "Oh, I just taught my left hand how to be more dexterous." So it feels good to be able to track that. So sleep, community, and your non-dominant hand are three ways you can start to incorporate if you're worried about Alzheimer's or if you want to keep your brain healthy. Okay, let's do a couple more questions here. Rav 02182. If you've never been in a committed relationship but want to try to settle down at nearly 40, where do you begin? Damn. Nothing like jumping in the lake. Huh, Rav? Why have you never been in a committed relationship at 40? I'm not judging you, but I'm judging you. I want to know why. I have more questions. I need to know more details. But where do you begin? You just begin. Like, start dating. But I'm more curious as to why you haven't done that because something tells me either you're scared or somebody really hurt you. And so you're still scared. And you've probably had a bad example of a relationship, or I could be completely wrong. Maybe you haven't found the one. And I would love when people say they haven't found the one. Look, I'm not a fucking life coach. I am not a matchmaker. I'm not a doctor. I am just a girl who's lived a life and I like to share it. But anyone who goes, I'm waiting for the one, motherfucker, you're never going to find them because you think the one exists outside of you. You are the one. And until you make yourself your own true love, you are not going to be able to love somebody else. You're going to have so many problems. And that's not to say that problems won't exist in a regular relationship. They do and they will. That's just a part of life. Problems are amazing. That's where all the gifts are in life, the challenges. But if you don't learn to love yourself, and if you don't learn that you are, in fact, yourself's the one, then you're always going to be looking for that outside of yourself constantly in life. And you're never going to be satisfied because you're going to think that the way to get it is to try and get it outside of you. And that's not it. You're going to be searching forever. It's you. You are your first true love. And when you realize that is when you really let go of the reins to need to hang on to other people and to the notion of, my one soulmate. I'm sure there's some people out there that that's really worked for. And congratulations. I honestly am so happy for you. But for the most part, that's not going to lead you to a healthy relationship. And that's just my opinion because of what I've experienced and what I've been through and what I know about myself. So fall in love with yourself first, sir, before you go and take your never before been committed ass into a relationship. And get some therapy. You know what the problem is with therapy? We go to it when we've already got a problem. Go to it now. Why wait for yourself to be so fucked up that you need help? Go now. We're all fucked up. Start now. There's never going to be a point where you're not going to be fucked up enough for someone to help you. We all need help. So I suggest you get a little bit of therapy, uncover why you've never been in a relationship, and get out there and date and really know what you want. But you're not going to be able to know what you want until you accept yourself as your true soulmate. And then you can ask yourself, well, what do I want? What am I looking for? What kind of life do I want to live? That's what we should be asking ourselves before we go, oh, what kind of guy or what kind of girl do I want to be with? What kind of life do you want to live? Because the guy or girl is going to be insignificant and obsolete if you don't know where the fuck you want to go, you know? So you got a lot of unpacking and journaling to do as well, Rav. Eric Haberin. When will Dr. P be back on the Bertcast? Oh, I miss Birdie. Birdie Bird. I see him with his belly out. He just did a little sexy video of him washing himself on the beach like a fucking beached whale. I love that son of a bitch. I'll have to hit him up. Yeah, he's doing well. I'm so happy for him. JM Griffin 456. Why won't my girlfriend flick her bean in front of me? I want it. I love that you said flick the bean, sir. I feel like you've known me for years because I've been saying that, and it's weird to say, but it's like, our little cute little chickpea. Our cooch is like a little chickpea there. That's cute. Well, have you expressed this to your girlfriend? Does your girlfriend know that you want to watch her? Or are you assuming that she knows that because in your mind you like it and you just assume that your partner knows what you want, and maybe you don't have really good communication skills and you're afraid to tell her, or maybe you thought you implied it and you felt like she should have understood it. Just tell her or ask her. Tell her that that would turn you on. And she might have some shame issues, she might have some insecurity. She may not know you like that, first of all. And I think it's a totally normal thing. It's totally hot. I'm into it too. I dig it. So I think you should ask her and know that she might have some shame around it. She might be a little insecure. She might be shy. There's a lot of women, and thankfully we're coming out of this era of us feeling shameful and gross about our own bodies, but there still are a lot of women out there who don't feel comfortable. They don't think they're beautiful. They haven't learned to be comfortable with their body and their sexuality. So she might just take a little warming up. Women, take some warming up, sir. Warm us up. Warm her up. Be kind to her. Think about her. Consider her. But she also has to do all this stuff for herself. And if she hasn't learned to do this stuff for herself, it's kind of hard for you to be the guy to do it for her. I'm only telling you how you can support her in her journey to feeling comfortable with who she is. So I would just approach it very tenderly and considerate of the fact that maybe she has some shame and might be a little insecure about it. And if not, if she's a freak, then, just let her know. Write it, make a cute little note, and put it at breakfast. Say, "Hey, here's your bagel, your egg and cheese bagel. I would like to see you flick your bean for lunch. Love you, your husband. Let me know how it goes." Um, let's see what else we got here. Sully3152. I fucking love you, and the chicken riggies are good from I like that place. I'm from Jamesville. Oh yeah, you guys know I love to support my hometown in Syracuse, New York, Jamesville, New York. There's this restaurant called Brian's Landing. Shout out to Jacqueline and the staff there. I love it. I'm having some issues with my headphones. Sorry if I'm fidgeting on the video. The place is delicious. Brian's Landing, Heritage Hill. You guys know I love Original Grain, Dinosaur Barbecue, a Pizza Regionale. Those are my spots. And if you're ever in town in Syracuse, you gotta get a loaf from Columbus Bakery. But chicken riggies are such an upstate dish. That was my father's favorite dish, and I had to have it. My dad loved like sausage and peppers and chicken riggies and veal parmesan, even though I yelled at him every time he fucking ordered it. But yeah, shout out Sully315. I see you. The place is Brian's Landing. And thank you for saying hi. Brian D. Last. Have you ever injured a man's wiener during any sexual acts? I have. There hasn't been full on casualties, but there's definitely been some prisoners of war. Can we take a moment of silence for all the dicks I've injured in sex? Godspeed. I hope you guys have found some peace. And I didn't mean to leave your piece in pieces, but I do Kegels. Yes, it's happened a couple times. Sometimes you bounce off of one and you catch air and you don't come back down nice and neat. And I guess that can hurt. And I'm sorry for everybody who I ever did that to. I have a lot of energy and I'm athletic. It's not my fault that your dick isn't long enough to stay inside of me. These are things we all have to work on in life. I think I may have hurt a couple other people, but not intentionally. And I hope that they've all healed well. I hope the dick cast came off and it wasn't too broken. Will Bond. Petty ways to piss off nosy neighbors. Walk around naked with your windows open. Don't be petty. Go for bold. Dick out drinking your coffee, giving them a little thumbs up. How you doing? Good morning. Open your windows and do downward facing dog with your asshole facing the window. See how they like it. Oh, you want to be nosy, Cheryl? Well, here's my perineum. Happy Saturday to you. I hope the baby shower's going well. Why didn't I get a fucking invite? Uh, Eliza La. My dog kicks after he poops. My psychiatrist thinks my dog's embarrassed. I think he's happy. Help. Dogs sometimes kick after they poop. And sometimes they're doing that to cover the scent. Sometimes they're doing that to spread the scent. It depends on what they want, what they're trying to accomplish. If they're trying to hide, they're going to cover the scent. If they're trying to let other motherfuckers know they're in town, they're going to be tossing that shit around. Other times they're just crazy and happy. I think you're overthinking life. Don't worry about what your dog's thinking when he shits. Just enjoy the fact that you have a dog and you're going for a walk. You should change your weed. Oh God, what the fuck is Chaplin thinking? He's shitting and I'm wondering what he's thinking. That's hilarious that you're worried about it. Ryan Fitzgerald 603. Why did she write me these long, heartfelt letters and then cheat on me? Damn. Because she's human. Because she wants love. Because she knows she deserves it, but she doesn't believe it 100% yet. Because someone gave her hope one day and because someone broke her heart and because she thinks she wants it and then she doesn't know how to get it or to keep it because someone walked out on her because she never learned to count on herself because of so many reasons. Doesn't mean that she didn't love you, but it also means that she doesn't understand what love is and you dodged a bullet, homie. You know? And it's not that her words didn't mean anything. And it's not that her words were honest, but she wasn't honest with herself. And so hopefully it wasn't your brother. Hopefully you learned why you're attracting this type of person. And hopefully you're rebuilding the part of you that is attracting that type of person so that you can attract somebody who's not going to cheat on you and write fucking long ass heartfelt letters. Oh, I would love to read one. I really would. I really would love to read one. For some reason, I'm picturing like Elizabethan writing, like a weird calligraphy, and it sounding like words like Moro and of nights past, those types of phrases, and therefore are used in the letter. So I really need to see it. I'm gonna need to see a letter. So please email it to Jessimae pelusocomedy@gmail.com. Kevin Net. Okay, so we know girls fart, but what about the myth that they poop? No, we don't poop. Are you serious, Clark? Are you out of your mind? We don't poop. You're silly. You're absolutely silly. That's not even a thing. Never, 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 never do we poop. Especially if we're staying at Brad Pitt's house. We don't poop. Um, there's ways to poop without allowing somebody to know that you've pooped. And it's hard. It's hard. I described it in Girl Code. We did a whole like how to poop at somebody else's house. And that was my idea for a segment. And we did that. And there's 3 steps really. They're screaming children. I don't know if you guys can hear them. I sure as hell paid enough for a microphone to not pick up screaming children in the background. But if you can, I won't apologize because it's still quarantine and you guys should know this is just how it goes now. Step 1, you're going to want to lay down a couple sheets of paper in the bath in the tub. No, not what? In the toilet. Some toilet paper in the toilet because you cover any evidence going down into the toilet. Next, you're going to want to spray it with poopery. We're not sponsored. They should sponsor the podcast because I am like the best ambassador for a fresh ass situation. You're going to want to spritz poopery. It works before you poop. These are 2 things you do before you poop. Lay down the paper, spritz the poopery, sit down, and you're going to want to give 1 courteous squirt to the air and a flush as we're doing our deed. And then 1 more spritz in the toilet and make sure there's no remnants. And hopefully you get a second date. If not, you probably ate something that you shouldn't have and it disagreed with your gut. And you did this to us. You did this to us. Becky, why are you pooping at his house? First date? No, you're going to go down the hall. By no means anywhere. What was that noise? By no means should you be shitting at a guy's house. You have to figure out where to shit before you can get to his house. But if you get stuck and you have to shit at his house, use my steps. Also run the water. Definitely run the water and talk to yourself so that he can't hear anything. My worst nightmare is just being in the bathroom and for some reason it's always that thing where everything's quiet and then it's like damn it. Why did everybody stop talking when my asshole had something to say? You guys have been loud this whole time. Nobody could have asked a question when my asshole made its presence known. So no, we don't poop. We don't. But you guys did call into the podcast. If you want to call in and have your question or word of comment, whatever it is, if you want to have that played on the pod, you can call us at 513-916-0930. I probably should vet these before we set them up to play on the podcast, but I'm a risk taker. Let's see what this person has to say. Right? Okay, iPhone.
Hey, Jessimae, how you doing? My name is Jeffrey. The only reason I'm calling is I'm watching the podcast where you was on Joe Rogan. I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and I really don't know much about you, but this podcast is killer. It's another great one, of course. Most of his are, but you're funny as hell, man. And so you got a new fan no matter what. And if you're ever in any shows in Ohio or anything like that, I definitely like to come see you. But anyways, I just want to say, great podcast. Like to find out more, maybe look into your podcast, The Sharp Tongue. I just want to say you're funny as hell, and I'm really enjoying watching this. And I know it's a couple months old, so I don't know what you're doing now, but you're good people, and I just want to say that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. You trying to fuck? No, thank you so much. You sound like a thick daddy, and I don't know if you know about Rats 2022, but that's all I'm accepting into my life. And I know most people are like, rats, ew, why would you want rats in your life? I'm not talking about rodents. I'm talking about rich and thick singles. So if you are a rat, please call me 513-916-0930 and let me know why you'd be a good rat to have in my life. Rats, they're not just at your feet, they're at your heart as well. That's what I'm into when you sound like a rat, sir. And I mean that with all intents and purposes of seeing if you are in fact a rich and thick single. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, this one looks ridiculous.
Hey, Jesse, this is Bill Brown. I was wondering if I could get on the podcast or whatever. Get back a hold of me at 810.
This guy wants to be on the podcast. I don't know if he understood the assignment, but he thinks that I'm having people call to be guests on the podcast. His name's Obama. Well, if you don't sound like the real Obama, so it's going to be a hard pass, sir. It's going to be a hard pass. Let's see what else we have here. Transcription not available. Scary. Okay, so you guys are butt dialing me? Is that what's happening? We're getting butt dials and people who want to promote their rap CDs. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Another person. Oh, it looks like another phone number left.
Hey, this is Bill Bong trying to get a call back about.
It's Bill Bong!
Ask a question. I'll come up with a question to ask or whatever. So, you stick with me. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
Oh my God, Debbie, it's Bill Bong. If you guys don't know, we put out like a Carmen Sandiego, where in the world is Bill Bong bat signal, because he was a fan from a while ago. Oh my God, that's so funny. It's Bill Bong. If you guys used to watch when I had Weeds Day on Facebook, now it's on Instagram. My weekly live broadcast where we raise awareness for Alzheimer's while also smoking some cannabis. Bill Bong has been a fan for a hot minute and he just went MIA. And Debbie and I, for the longest time, were like, where the fuck is Bill Bong? There, it's Bill Bong, Deb.
Yeah, this is Bill Bong.
It's Bill Bong called me like 4 fucking times. It wasn't Obama.
Hey, Jesse, this is Bill Bong.
It was not Obama, it's Bill Bong. Oh, what a great day. What up, Bill Bong? Nice to see you. I'm glad you're alive, bud. Thanks for calling into the pod. We'll get Deb to coordinate with you, okay? Let's see what else we got.
Hey, this is Bill Bong.
It's okay. So Bill Bong called 1,000 times. I'm fucking dead. Oh my God, that is so funny. Hey, Bill Bong, thank you for calling. We definitely are gonna have to figure out where you went, why you went so MIA. And thank you guys for your questions. If you asked a question didn't get answered, don't feel bad. We can't get to everybody. We do get a lot of inquiries, and everyone looks for advice out there. Even myself, I'm always looking for advice. That's the way you grow. I like to align myself with thought leaders and people who are doing amazing things in their field. I like to educate myself. That's why I have the people I have on my podcast, and why I befriend the people I befriend, because I'm always into growing, and I really respect people who are killing the game in their own industry and who are generous. It's a very rare quality. So the people in my life reflect that. The friends I have in my life are reflective of those qualities that I'm attracted to, and also qualities that will help me, I think, become a more self-aware individual. And it's a lot of work, and it's hard to look at yourself and go, fuck, damn, this is how I occurred. I said this, I looked like this. It's so hard, but every moment is an opportunity to show up a little better than you were before. I think we have to stop competing with people we don't know, or even people we do know, and start competing with ourselves a little bit more. That's where Dave Goggins is so amazing, because the motherfucker's just competing with himself. And I think it's so healthy. I just think we also need some rest and naps. I'm not saying be a sloth, but I know there is science in recovery and science in rest. And I just think that it's also, it's really important for us to realize how we occur and to evolve. To stay the same is so exhausting, isn't it? Aren't you fucking tired of being miserable? Aren't you tired of being in the same job? If you're just fucking sick of whatever you're sick of, change that shit, man. Life is way too short to be miserable. Oh, it's easy for you to say you're entitled. I've been through a lot of shit. Nothing's been handed to me except for some unfortunate penises in my life, gently on a platter. It's the way a lady likes it. But the rest of it I had to work for. And the other thing that is true as well, a lot of people are like, I did this on my own. I got here on my own. No, you didn't. No one made you a sandwich today. You didn't buy food. You didn't go to a place and somebody made you a hot meal. You didn't call on a friend, or no one did anything for you today. I think we get a little entitled with our own lives, and we become a little ungrateful, and we start to expect certain things because we get them, and we don't realize how fortunate we are to have them in our life. So I'm fortunate for you guys. Thank you guys so much every week for listening. I appreciate you. And we are going to be doing a grief survival guide episode. I owe you one. It'll be a big one, a bigger one, at least in a accumulation of everything that I've learned thus far. And if you guys have guests who you'd like to see, email us, jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. Also, we're starting to post on the Patreon page again, because your girl's feeling full of energy and back to herself. Well, not back to herself, but to who she is now, who I am now. And on the other side of losing everybody. No, see, that's language. It's limiting. I've lost my mom and dad, but I have my sister, and I'm very grateful for that, even though the bitch drives me nuts and I drive her nuts. But hey, sisters. I appreciate you guys so much. We are posting on the Patreon page every week now. So go to patreon.com/Jessimae Peluso. I think it is. I should know this. It's in the show notes. And we have sponsors every week now. So it's very, very exciting. Thank you guys so much. I couldn't do this without you. We have an announcement coming soon that we're going to be making probably in mid-February about the podcast. So it's very exciting. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you binge my show, Tattoo Redo on Netflix. I'm sure most of you have binged it, but if you haven't, check it out. It's very bingeable and fun. And I actually get a tattoo at the end of the show that is very special to me. So, and that show is a very special experience, because that was a time that I was losing my mom and had to sort of keep it together to be able to show up for the show and my cast. So thank you guys so much for all of your support during everything that I've been through and through this podcast. I think this is the 300th episode. We've been downloaded like 2 million times, almost 2 million times. It's fucking awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I honestly can't do it without you. I do it for you. And thank you guys. This has been another Dr. P episode. There'll be more with guests and stuff talking about death. Don't forget to send me your solution or answer to where you think we go when we die. Jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Love you. Love yourself. Bye, Brad. Hey, Dave.